So all of these would be, say, upwards to of 70 odd percent. So the asset quality comfort is very much there, and the further slippages story is not there. So in those companies, we would look into the credit growth, because now the focus will turn back into growth. So for those stocks to perform, the focus would be on the growth and how they are looking into the growth. The other buckets are still some of those, say, mid-cap banks on some of the public sector bank, where the concerns of asset quality is very much there. So there we will look into the asset quality number pretty closely. And from a market perspective also, what we believe, because the valuation of the first bucket which I mentioned are kind of, as you said, it is it's more or less at their historical average or tad lower. But the valuation of some of the others, be it the PSBs or some of the other mid-cap, even private sector banks, are way below. Some of the banks which were trading at 3-4 times book are trading at 1 time book or so. So there, the commentary on the asset quality and stabilization of asset quality will be closely watched. And once that happens, we will see a movement out there. So all in all, we are positive on the banking and the financial sector, because the overall big picture story of the profit cycle for corporates and the overall investment cycle theory, it augurs well with financials. And we'll look into the credit growth number for the large private sector bank, and we'll look into the asset quality numbers for the mid and also the public sector.
What about the IT space, Rupen? It's been the leading sector for last 3 years now, among the largest ones. Its weightage in the index now is at highest, I think barring the 2000 .com time. But valuation wise, now 30 times is being described as the new normal. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so you are right, Anuj. I think the Nifty index of IT weightage is now close to 18%, which is probably at its multi-decade high. So IT has seen a significant re-rating on back of decent earnings growth. So IT as a sector, with some time back, the dollar growth rate was say 6-7%. The trajectory has now moved. An expectation is that next 1-2 years the dollar growth will be say 12-13%, which is there. And I think one have to be aware of the fact that all the IT companies, one of the other reason for re-rating has been buybacks, because that has also improved the ROE profiles. So a lot of comparison between IT and consumers have come into the picture, because the ROE profiles of ITs have gone up significantly post the buybacks and the payout strategy which they have announced. So here, within IT, you are right. The large companies are at upwards of 30 multiple, but from our perspective, at least, we believe that between large and mid, in fact, the mid-cap IT companies are even trading at a higher valuation than the large caps. So we have of late, taken some profits in mid-cap IT names, that we are kind of a little bit cautious on mid-cap IT names. We continue to like the the large IT names, because in the market, the earnings story or the growth story is very strong. The commentary is very strong. And if you ask me, I will look into the one commentary this time around from all IT companies, not the growth, because that is given at least in the current scenario, but the overall commentary around attrition, because that has been the big cause of concern for the industry per se. So I think that is one commentary which I will closely observe. The growth as well as the order book story remains quite robust for IT.
Okay, all right. Rupen, stay with us. We'll just shift focus for a bit on to the CNBC TV and exclusive story, which was flashing earlier. By the way, before I go to that, I must take note of the rupee, which is now at a 70-day low of 74.94 to a dollar. This is, of course, on broad-based dollar strength. I mentioned that right on the top of the show. And, of course, the big spike in oil does not help. Oil is the most important commodity. Our macro fortunes are not really in our hands. We import 80% of the oil that we use, and rising oil and a sharply rising oil like what we've seen does start to matter at some point. The rupee market is, of course, taking note at this point in time. It's almost a 50 paise move that we have on the dollar rupee. Okay, to the story that I was talking about, this is Z, which is back in focus. Sources tell us that Z Entertainment has moved the NCLAT, the appellate tribunal, challenging the NCLT order from yesterday. Yash is here with more details. Yash.
Well, Prashant, not one, not two, but there are 3 legal cases now which will be fought between Z Entertainment and Invesco. The latest that we've been given to understand is that Z Entertainment today has moved NCLAT, which is the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, which in terms of jurisdiction speaking is over NCLT. Now, the move from Z Entertainment has come with 2 important prayers. The first one is that they are seeking more time to file their reply over Invesco's arguments on seeking that EGM before NCLT. Do remember that NCLT had given a time till October 7th to Z Entertainment to file a final reply to Invesco's argument. Z Entertainment did try to resist, saying that the time is too less considering the kind of arguments which they will have to put forth, but NCLT was firm on its stand and gave them time till October 7th. Taking that into consideration, Z has moved NCLAT for the same request, seeking more time. The second prayer is that they've asked NCLAT to stay the proceedings at NCLT till a final outcome is decided by NCLAT on Z's proceeding. This is because in case, of course, on Friday, as scheduled, we'll have NCLT hearing the matter, but just in case NCLAT cannot give them the relief needed, then at least interim relief should be given in terms of staying the proceedings at NCLT. Of course, the documents in terms of them moving to NCLAT has been furnished to both Invesco and OFI Global China Fund, and we can expect a statement from Z Entertainment shortly on this one.
Okay, Yash, thanks a lot for that. I would request authorities to also name some of these slightly better. You know, NCLT, NCLAT, it's just becomes so confusing. But NCLAT is, of course, the appellate tribunal. But you know, the market is still at the low point of the day. We forgot to thank Rupen. Rupen, thanks a lot for joining us. Good having that conversation with you today. We look forward to our next one. Before we take a break, there's something happening in Bosch. You know, because if you see the kind of volumes that Bosch has generated today, it normally doesn't see this. And the market at low point of the day, and Bosch has now moved to high point of the day, 12% higher. In fact, you can see a bit of a spike once again on that stock. So there's a bit of a move which is happening right now as far as Bosch is concerned. Mitesh, that was your morning call. So let me just revisit it. Technically, I mean, we don't know the fundamental reason for this move, but technically, how is it looking now? What's the next level to watch out for?
And this looks like a massive breakout. See, actually, it was a weekly triangle which kind of broke out today. But the price and volume has even surprised me, and they should definitely see more follow through than what I was initially anticipating. So I was looking at 18,500, 19,000 as the target area. That still remains the first target zone. But a level of around 19,550, 600, which is what it visited way back in November of 2018. I think that's the next level which is coming on the charts.
Okay, let's do one thing then. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll address dealing room. D Street chatter comes up, and of course the BTST calls as well.